Good morning and welcome to another identity-filled episode of Nadya's Identity Files. If you live in the Los Angeles area, you've been probably feeling the effects of weather, not too common for the Southland. It's been raining for days and days and days. I'm originally from the East Coast, so it doesn't bother me too much. In fact, I kind of like it. Somebody over the weekend asked me, well, actually he implored that I stay inside and don't go anywhere. Stay inside, it's raining. And I'm like, why? Like, excuse me? Like, why can't I go anywhere? So people have been super bundled up, which is obviously apparel associated more with colder regions of the country, but I'm enjoying it. I'm wearing my coat here, and I kind of like the cool weather. It's almost February. Why not, right? But a good thing about the rain is that it's taking care of our years and years long drought. I don't know the exact number of years that we've been dealing with this drought, but it's been a long time. And, I really, really, really love to dig into identity in like the weirdest ways. And I think that California in many ways has had this it's weird. It's like we've had this depleted, dry, arid identity. I mean, clearly SoCal is a desert. I mean, it doesn't feel like it because we have palm trees everywhere, but I mean, it is. But I mean, in long story short, we have been dealing with a lot of problems without this rain, but now we're recovering from that. So yay for that. And speaking of years and age, that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Time is on a continuum. I love talking about that. And age, of course, is a construct. But yet in America and many parts of the world, people feel bound to their calendar age. For some cultures, of course, turning 13 marks the transition from childhood to adulthood. In Jewish culture, that is commemorated with a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah. In Latin American culture, that is commemorated at the age of 15 by way of a quinceañera. And of course, we all know about the Sweet 16 celebration. And at 18, legally, we move from childhood to adulthood, in spite of maybe not feeling quite like an adult yet at that point. So it's interesting. I just turned 30 on New Year's Eve, and a lot of people that I know, a lot of women that I know, especially those who are working in the entertainment industry, they are not comfortable with announcing their age. Some just want to stay locked in their 20s, and it's interesting. It's like the identity of a 20-something, they want to keep wrapped up in that, whereas the identity of a 30-something, for women, it's associated with, of course, the aging process being expedited, so to speak. But again, the way we feel inside and the way we look on the outside, it's all relative, it's all subjective. We should not be made to feel one way or another simply because we have a calendar age. Because remember, the calendar is a construct, age is a construct, time is on a continuum. Needless to say, there are so many stigmas placed on different people at different ages because of what society deems that person capable or not capable of based upon their age. As people get older, they're desexualized and infantilized and made to feel like they don't have the same worth of somebody who is in his or her 30s or 40s, and that's just not right. I often speak with people who are older, being it's strange. I've always connected with people who are older rather than younger. And I try to remind them that it's never too late to pursue your dreams and goals. And they tell me, well, I'm retired, I'm a senior citizen, I can't do that. And I'm thinking, where are these messages coming from? And obviously they're coming from the media, they're coming from society. And I really want to move through and beyond that. And the same goes on the other side of the spectrum. Younger people deemed incapable of accomplishing certain things based upon their age. So today, we're going to be examining age and identity, but through a very specific niche lens. We're going to be looking at identity and age through the lens of hypnosis, through hypnotherapy, which is an ancient practice. Actually, I want to say that people have been probably practicing different areas, different types of hypnotherapies for thousands of years, quite likely. However, the term hypnosis and hypnotherapy wasn't regularly discussed until the I guess, the later part of the 19th century. First with me today is world-renowned hypnotherapist Lisa Mockenberg, who's become known as the Hypno Mom for her unorthodox parenting strategies that are based in hypnotherapy. She's appeared on the Steve Harvey Show. Oh gosh, there's a pigeon man. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I have to stop right now. There's a pigeon man is outside. There's been a man knocking pigeons on the window, and he is back. Anyway, my amazing guests, Lisa Mockenberg, world-renowned hypnotherapist, known for being a hypno mom, working with children and unveiling certain aspects of themselves through the power of hypnotherapy, appearing on TV shows such as The Steve Harvey Show, ABC. This week she's going to be on The Doctors on CBS. I'm super excited for her, super excited to talk to her. She's also a revered instructor at HMI. So we're going to be exploring age and her work with different people from different segments of the population, and also as related to herself. And then we're going to speak with her younger counterpart and mentee, Scarlett Delasio, who is a very accomplished young woman in her own right. She, at only 21 years old, she's already a certified hypnotherapist and in private practice. She teaches courses at HMI, and she's working with spiritual application and sustainability, which is so fascinating to me, and it makes perfect sense because spirituality is intertwined in everything that is Mother Nature. Mother Nature and our earth is imbued with a beautiful form of spirituality that humans and mankind often take for granted. So I commend her on her work, and I'm excited to speak with them both. But first, of course, we have to go into today's segment of Identity News. We've gone through a major transition in the past few days. The Obamas said goodbye to the White House and made way for the Trump family on Friday, the 20th. That was the date of the inauguration. I think I took down the exact numbers of the number of people who appeared at the inauguration. And as far as I know, it was about, let's see. Well, I mean, Trump has been complaining, saying that journalists are getting all of the numbers wrong. But as far as I could see and as far as what I've read, the turnout for his inauguration was far, far, far lower than inaugurations in years prior. He says that up to 1.5 million attended, and apparently the photographs disprove that. And this is what he said. He said that his inauguration specifically marks a brand new day, a national day of patriotism. He says, when you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. Can we think about that for a second? When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. Okay. Interesting. I mean, as far as I know, rhetoric. The next day, scores of women across the world turned out for women's marches. I think 750,000 women in Los Angeles, 500,000 in Washington, D.C., thousands more in other cities across the United States and the world. Numbers that obviously went above and beyond the numbers of people that showed up for Trump's inauguration. And it's just interesting to think about that comment that he made, because just that next day he was tweeting up a storm complaining about the women's marches, and yet marching and assembling peacefully is an indicator of patriotism, right? And as far as I know, these patriotic acts of assembly are showing, our desire as women, as people of every race, creed, background, to turn over prejudices that we're feeling in the air right now. So, but speaking of prejudices and keeping with the theme of identity, of course, which what this show is based on, I want to just say a little something about how I think it is problematic that people are projecting Trump's identity onto his children. They are not the same people. I'm not pleased with Donald Trump, but his children, particularly Barron Trump, who is a child, I think he's only 10 years old, is being subject to ridicule and hateful tweets And I just don't think that's appropriate to say horrible things about a child or to cyberbully a child, regardless of who his father is. Just like anybody else, this person, this young boy, cannot help who his parents are. So please refrain from disseminating hateful tweets and messages that could be problematic for him in the future. Thank you. Now, when we come back, number one, I hope to see the Pigeon Man again. I'm going to get the Pigeon Man on my show at some point, and there was just, this is a special day. Another person, really cool. Look, I can't help myself. This is Hollywood Boulevard. There's all kinds of characters out here. It's amazing. Someone just rolled by with a selfie stick on a skateboard. I mean, come on. Does this happen like anywhere else but Hollywood Boulevard? Maybe, but it's just not the same. So when we come back, we're going to have Lisa talk to me about age and hypnotherapy and all of her recent work. And then right after that, we're going to speak with Scarlett, followed by a roundtable where we're just going to continue the conversation further. I'm excited. You should be excited too. I'll be right back.